Good morning guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on a beautifully crisp sunny morning on Miracle Mountain. And look at this small section of pond right here is completely frozen over. It has been a super productive week. I've had the architect, the structural engineer, I've had a friend here for a day helping me clear out some things on the stone house, but best of all is I got the news that Bee is coming home for Christmas. She went and had a checkup with the surgeon who basically deemed her fit to fly back to Portugal for Christmas and forever. She's coming home and it feels amazing. I'm actually going to pick her up tonight from the airport in Lisbon. I absolutely love these mornings, not a cloud in the sky, frost on the ground, and look at these massive stones that were once in the house and have now been evicted. And if we come inside, you'll notice a massive difference inside this room. Look at that, we can actually go in there and walk around now. It fills me with joy that that room is now opened up and we can actually walk around and get an idea for the space. And in this video, I'm going to go over some ideas for the whole place, because obviously I did have the structural engineer here and the architect, and it's great news. But me and my mate, we removed so much scaffolding that has been completely burnt, and acro props as well. I've worked it out to be over 5,000 euros, and it was completely usable. It was perfect scaffolding, perfect acro props, and all the platforms that go on the scaffolding that have now been just completely obliterated in the fire. But I'm gonna see if I can use some of the materials for something else. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. I mean, look at this pile alone of scaffolding. And then over here, we have the acro props. That pile just there is nearly as tall as I am. And that's not the only pile. There is another pile right here that is not far off the same. And obviously all of this scrap metal as well, which is gonna have to be cashed in or taken to the dump at some point. There's still more to come out of that room as well. This is the majority of it behind me, but under a thick layer of rubble that I don't want to remove right now until I have a skip. So I can basically just load the front bucket of the tractor full of the rubble and dump it straight in the skip, so I'm not moving material twice. But this stuff behind me, I'm sure I can find a use for it. If not, I'm going to be able to sell it to someone who can, or cash it in for some scrap. Some of them are in better condition than others. As you can see right there, that patina from the flaking rust from the fire. I'm gonna try and jet wash some of them off and see how they come up. Some of them do move in and out still and still work. Some of them have been melted so hot that they're bent, but I'd say the majority of them are okay. That being said, there's no way I'm gonna trust something that has been in a fire hot enough to melt glass and big pieces of steel rebar to stand on, or anything structural. No chance, I'm not taking that risk. And look at the amount of stone we managed to move out of the main house. That will come in very useful in the future for building walls and stuff like that. So it was obviously really good to get a site visit from the architect and also the structural engineer. They came together and they were absolutely blown away by Miracle Mountain. I was showing them around the property, and yeah, they were really impressed with it and really impressed with this project as well and what it could be for a tourism project. And obviously I've done all of my research for tourism. I wouldn't take on a big project like this if we didn't think we were in the right area to actually be able to rent it out. Miracle Mountain, it is a one-of-a-kind property, and that is what we fell in love with. Obviously it's been changed a huge amount by the fire and the flooding, but my sole mission now is to make this place the best it can be. So the architect actually brought with him a fire zone map, which was really useful. So we could pinpoint this location right here and check the fire zone, because that makes a big difference when you're applying for the building permits for this project. They're going to look at things like the fire zone regulation. What you can and can't do will depend a lot on that. And actually on our property, it's in the green zone, which is less likely, which is amazing, because that means we can pretty much do anything we want, and it should be granted on this property to rebuild and maybe add a little bit extra as well, but I'll go into that in a minute. So I'm trying to get this all in one shot, but it's proving quite difficult. But this is a really unique part of the house, because this room has a doorway there onto the second floor. We've got a ground floor doorway there. We then have a nice size window there. We also have another doorway there, and I'm currently standing in a doorway as well. This is the doorway that I'm standing in. So that's 4 doorways and a window, which means that room is going to get tons of light into it, which is perfect because it is the smaller section of the property. So we want to make it feel bigger than it actually is, and all that light and how we decorate it. Maybe we have some white walls to bounce that light around and make the space feel bigger than it actually is. That is what we did with our previous project, and it worked so nicely. It's great that there's all that natural light going to be coming into that section of the house, but I'm also not naive to what 5 windows and doors of good quality actually cost on a project like this. So that's something that needs to be taken into consideration. I spoke to Bee on the phone after the architect and the structural engineer came round, and I said, we're trying to do grand designs on a budget without the baby. If you don't know about Grand Designs, I think Grand Designs is pretty much all over the world now, but brilliant program where some incredible people do some incredible projects, and they always seem to have a baby in the most stressful part of the project. That will not be happening here. So we have another small window there, that's number 6. And if I go through into the building, you'll be able to see this is the doorway that I was standing in. So I'm going to hop onto that. It's quite hard to film because it's quite bright in here today, but you can see the mountain behind. And this wall actually isn't in bad condition. And let me talk about what the structural engineer actually said. With the new year coming up, why not take the plunge and finally build that website you've been dreaming of? Thanks to Squarespace, who has sponsored this video, I'm about to show you how easy it is. Firstly, click the link in our description for a 2-week free trial to Squarespace. Then browse through the extensive catalogue of website templates that cover a massive variety of designs. From blogs to shops, you'll find one that suits you. The themes are all customizable, so you can change the color, font, layout, and so much more to make the website perfect for you. Editing is super simple on the Squarespace platform. You can drag and drop text blocks, images, contact forms, and other features onto each page, where you can see in real time how your website is looking. Squarespace has an entire area dedicated to website analytics, showing you the pages people visit the most, popular content, search terms, and many other useful statistics that will allow you to understand what your visitors are interested in. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in our description or head to squarespace.com/indieprojects for a 14-day free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So obviously one of the things I was most nervous about was what the structural engineer was going to say about the quality of the stone post-fire, but actually he was so blasé about it. He's seen so much worse. He said that this stone house has good bones. It's going to be tied together with steel, he said, so that's not a problem. Basically, there will probably be like a steel pillar in each corner of each room that will tie the walls to that steel. He also said that about 3 or 4 of the lintels will have to be replaced because they've got cracks running through them. If you don't know what a lintel is, it essentially is the big stone that spans across any doorways or windows that takes the weight of the stone above it. It's quite hard to show on camera, but this is an example of a crack here in the lintel that runs all the way, well, about 3/4 of the way through the stone, and that is not safe. So the architect said that we won't see the steel. It will all be tied into the walls. It will all be hidden. But it got me thinking, and I've always liked the idea of like maybe having the steel visible. So almost like it's a steel skeleton inside the structure that almost honors the fact that there was a fire and the history of the building, and have that kind of almost industrial with the rustic but also cozy vibe as well. There's definitely something to think about. Let me know if you would keep the steel exposed or would you hide it. Let me know in the comments, because I'd be interested to hear what you think. It's obviously a personal choice of taste, but I think it could look really cool. So I've obviously spent a lot of time thinking about certain creative ideas and how I want it. And obviously this is the main section of the house, and these are the barns that run off the side of it. And the footprint of these two barns is actually really big. And what I was thinking would be really cool is if we could have a roof terrace along one section of this barn here. So you walk out from the second story and you have maybe some big bifold doors that you can open up and bring the outside in, and you can walk out onto a roof terrace and just enjoy the mountain views. And if I come inside, you'll be able to see a little bit better on what I'm talking about. It's a really decent sized room. If I come over here so the glare of the sun is not in your face. But this wall here, maybe take a section of this wall down and open up a big doorway here that you can walk directly through into this barn, and then maybe also take this section of wall down that leads into that barn, and maybe the furthest barn keep a roof off it maybe and have it as like a courtyard. I love the idea of having like an outside bath to hang out in, and maybe like a fireplace or a fire pit or something like that. I'm gonna go to the back of the house and try and show you my idea, because talking about it doesn't really do it justice. If I can get up there, which I possibly can't, I can kind of show you my idea that I've got, but I think it could be incredible. Look who's just turned up, Furrnando. He's come to go through some of his ideas as well. What are you rolling around like a nutter for in the sun? You crazy boy. You on a mad one? Proper basking in the sun, I love it. What are you doing? So on my way round to the back of the property, I just wanted to show you this. This is the very end of the barn, and the sun's right in my eyes, and trying to show you this is quite difficult, but you can see this wall here is the very end of the barn. And what I'd really like to do, whether it remains a room with a roof on, or even if it's left open as a courtyard, it would be amazing to have a huge great window in this side, just looking right down the tree line down here, because when them trees have leaves on, it's absolutely stunning. I've just managed to get up onto the back wall at the same level where the terrace will be, where you can sit out. I think it'll be a covered terrace because the summers are so hot here, and it'd be nice if it was raining, you could sit under and listen to the rain from a covered terrace, but all of the sides completely open. That would be incredible, but obviously there is going to be budget restraints, so I need to see the feasibility of like how much these things are going to cost, because these projects always cost a lot more than you think they're gonna. So right now, this is the view from the roof terrace. You could just sit out and look at this. That isn't bad, is it? I mean, just look at that mountain in the background. Stunning views. A lot of that's gonna grow back in the next 5 to 10 years as well, further up the mountain. But this is something I really wanna try and push for. The camera definitely doesn't do it justice at all, so that is why when it's finished, you'll have to come and stay here and enjoy the view for yourself. So the next part of the project is probably one of the most fun parts of the project, and that is sitting down with the architect and together coming up with a design, a plan that we're really happy with, that we can then submit to the Camera, which is the council, for the permissions to actually build. That process is going to take a fair while for sure. Things don't move quickly here in Portugal with that type of things, but I'm prepared for that. I've got a lot of groundwork that I need to do before any building work starts, and obviously you've seen me starting to clear stuff out, but I'm really excited about the process and what we can create here for you guys to come and stay. And obviously I'm going to document everything from the very start, as I have been, to the very end where you guys can come and stay. So it's all incredibly exciting. It's going to be a fairly long, drawn out process, but that's always the case with a big, renovation building project like this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm going to cut this a little bit short because I need to go up to the house, clean and tidy before I go and pick Bee up from the airport. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Merry Christmas to all you guys. I cannot wait for the new year. It's going to be a cracking new year. 2024 is going to be amazing. We're going to make sure of that, and I can't wait to bring you guys along for the journey. Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you, the camera cut out, I'll catch you at the end of December for the final video of the year. Take care everyone, have a great holiday. See you soon.